So what I would like to do is I would like to go through some characteristics and conventions of our next kind of group of episodes, 6 through 10, as well as highlighting some themes. So what I did is I pulled up a list of characteristics and conventions over here, themes over here on the right, and then I have our notes right here. So although my first sample was really detailed and I gave you really concrete examples, I want to do kind of a general kind of overview. So if we look at our episode 6 notes, the first kind of idea is that we hear stories of great strength and courage that comes from Beowulf's father. Strength and courage, or this idea of strength and courage, is can be connected specifically to the theme of courage and bravery versus fear. Next, the idea that Beowulf has been sent by God and brought to, and that they've been brought together by fate, is a direct connection to the theme of religion, or paganism versus Christianity. Hrothgar then greets Beowulf with treasure, gives them hope, and thanks him for coming. Obviously, this is a direct connection to our theme of wealth here. So as you can see, it's really kind of simple to go from the notes to our themes or our characteristics and conventions, which I will show you as well. Hrothgar knows of Beowulf's noble birth, so that would connect specifically to that the hero is of imposing stature or national or international importance. Sorry, I don't know why that thing keeps popping up. Also, Beowulf meets with Hrothgar in his armor in order to impress the king. Okay, this is going to kind of also display Beowulf's wealth through the theme of wealth. Again, we start talking about kind of the culture and the warring cultures. This was something that we kind of addressed in the beginning of episode 5, that because of this, they don't really kind of trust each other. Their identity, or one of the themes of identity, is to be this brave warrior and this strong soldier. The act of actually leaving their weapons outside the doors provides the information that, yes, they are strong and they are brave warriors, but they also want to be trusted. And so they're coming there with a kind of a mission as well. The idea that God will determine the outcome is, again, the connection to Christianity that we can see here. And we have this speech that Beowulf provides, which is a extended formal speech, one of the characteristics and conventions, but it also is a quality of the epic hero, and that they are prepared to die, that they are willing to risk everything that they possibly can in order to kind of be what they need to be. If we go further into episode 7, we have this really elaborate story about Ecgtheow, who is Beowulf's father. And through this story, we understand the importance of kind of trusting each other and kind of this retribution or this payback. Beowulf has come to Hrothgar because Hrothgar was so kind to his father. As it says here, Hrothgar has inadvertently kind of shaped Beowulf's identity. We also know that this act of saving Ecgtheow is an action that consists of great valor, or requiring superhuman courage. Great valor means it's something very honorable or something very noble outside of one's characteristics. So this example, or the story of Ecgtheow, would highlight this characteristic and convention as well. We have this kind of loud celebration. It's the first celebration in years that is going to lead directly into our next episode. And this would be an example of the narrative opening in media res, because if we look at episode 8, we're right in the middle of this event. So we go from episode 7, the end of episode 7, where we are at this giant party, to this quick kind of snapshot of Unferth in the middle of this party. So narrative opens in media res, or in the middle. Episode 8 would be an example of that. Unferth then brings up a story about Beowulf and Breca and that they raced and Beowulf lost and all of these things. But what's really important about this is that what is described contain not only supernatural forces, but also actions that require superhuman courage. The fact that Breca and Beowulf can swim for 5 days with swords and coats of mail and all of these things is something that requires superhuman courage as well. We move then quickly into episode 9, and this is this is a kind of a really brief episode, but there's this reference to monsters and specifically these horrible kind of creatures, which would both be examples of supernatural forces, and the fact that Beowulf kills all these monsters would be aspects of deeds of requiring superhuman courage. With this as well, we see that Beowulf treats Unferth really poorly. He actually kind of calls him names and kind of throws some pretty serious shade at him and says, I don't know why you're kind of being so harsh on me when you're a murderer yourself. And he kind of reveals some secrets from his past. Unfortunately, what this is doing is that it's kind of defining Beowulf's identity a little bit as this really young and arrogant and maybe too passionate and not really skilled leader yet, because we know that a true leader wouldn't really do this. Interestingly enough, Hrothgar does not defend Unferth, also identifying Hrothgar's identity in the idea that in good versus evil, who is really good here? We've said in the past that Beowulf and the humans are good and the monsters are bad, but because Unferth, our character Unferth, is connected or is said to be a descendant of Cain because he was a murderer, we could connect Beowulf and Unferth to good versus evil, Beowulf being the good, Unferth being the evil. We're then introduced to Wealhtheow, who is the first kind of female that we meet. And although she's not really given a lot of attention, women at the time were said to have a lot of power. And when we have information about Wealhtheow, who is a female, as well as Hrothgar, who is a male, this would be the poet remaining objective or giving us information about both sides, male and female. We also have the idea that Hrothgar, he reveals that he treats him very much like a son, or the description is that he treats him as an equal. This could also be a connection specifically to identity, Hrothgar's identity and Beowulf's identity. As we move into episode 10, there is direct connections to the fact that Beowulf is sent by God, which would connect specifically to supernatural forces, okay, gods, angels, and demons. We have Beowulf dropping his armor and weapons to show courage and faith in God. This could connect specifically to our theme of religion, specifically Christianity, but it also would connect to courage and bravery versus fear, in that he is courageous enough to fight Grendel basically barehanded, but he's brave enough because of his belief in the Christian God. The Geats are prepared to die. Beowulf is prepared to die. All of these are are characteristics of the epic hero.